I'm Jay-Z.
I'm Daniel.
This is Just My DIY.
And this is a wedding DIY. That's a paper craft using the Cricut.
We're going to show you how to make these tri-fold invitation pocket holders that are perfect for a destination wedding given their palm tree design.
Use them for your invitation or your save the date.
Absolutely. So there's a few steps to get through and we're going to show you how to do it all right now.
First, we needed to cut the design. So we found this nice design on Etsy.
And the things you have to do when you import these kinds of designs into Design Space is the score lines come in as cut lines, so you need to select each of those and actually make the function of that a score. Now we're going to make some modifications to this file because with the thickness of the pocket as well as what we wanted to put in it, a single fold wasn't enough, so we're actually going to add double folds into these, and we'll show you how to do that. But of course, first, to keep us straight as we're putting things on mats and to know where everything is, we did change the colors to match more of our cardstock. Now we are going to copy and paste a score line and place it close to the other one. We're going to zoom in really tight to make sure we know how far apart they are. And once we have them, the distance that we wanted for our double fold, we're going to select all three of those pieces and click attach. That's so they all stay together when it goes to the cutting stage. Now we're going to repeat that on the darker piece where we are going to copy and paste that score line, put it in the right spot, select all three pieces and attach them. Now we're going to go in to make it. And we're going to work off of 12 by 24 inch mats. That was just more efficient for us, and so we put everything onto one mat, changed the mat size, and most importantly, we mirrored. That's because the way that these lines score, we felt they were easier to fold if the fold was kind of coming in on itself. So we did mirror the design, got everything set up, and then selected our material, which is medium cardstock. We like to use more pressure. And one last tip on the tools, you can, for your scoring, choose to use a scoring stylus or the scoring wheel, and you change it by going into the edit tools function. We personally like the scoring wheel because it gives a better score, though it does cause us to change tools during the process.
We're using a couple of different colors of the Cricut mats depending on how aged their grip is. And we are obviously setting in place here our first scoring wheel.
Yep, and note that we did use a brayer there to get this cardstock down on the mat. That's to make sure you really want good adhesion with an intricate cut like this.
So we hit the C button and send it, and it does the first of the scoring. And then tells you to change it over to your knife, your fine point blade.
Yes, fine point blade, not the knife blade. Once we get that blade in, you hit the C button again and let it go. Now do note that this takes about 7 or 8 minutes to cut both of these. That turns out to be enough time to prep your next mat, as well as when one of these is actually off to pull it out. As always, before you eject, make sure you check your cuts, and if they're good, eject your mat.
Now once it's ejected, it is a good technique to pull the mat away from your paper and not the other way around, so you can alleviate any problems of folding, creasing, or other problems.
Like bending.
Oh.
So once you get it off, it does kind of self-weed itself, which is really nice. There are a few pieces that didn't come out, so we used a weeding tool to pop those out. You of course want to be careful because you are working with paper. Now we're going to do the same thing and pop out the little pieces.
And use the scraping tool to scrape all of the remnants off of the sticky grip mat. And that gets us ready to put more pieces of cardstock on it.
Absolutely, but now we're on to folding.
Alright, so folding, we use this metal edged ruler. This is actually a square. A ruler would work just fine, but the square kind of told me what was square. And I found it a lot easier to work from a fold line further from you and then do the one closer to you when you're doing a double fold line like this. Then you can use a ruler to fold that over and then finesse it with your fingers, because once you have those creases, as long as you're not crushing it like I could do with my enormous grip, then you know, every line on here needs to be folded. This one is a single fold line, so I just need to get it started underneath, and I can use this bone folding tool to work the edge and flatten it without braiding the paper itself.
Yeah, that bone scoring stylus really came in handy, and we'll make sure we link that along with all of our materials that we can below.
So then obviously we're setting up to fold the pocket here. You know, be careful with your folding tool on this one. You can easily catch one of those palm leaves. Ask me how I know.
There were several practices before this video took hold.
And of course, this is much the same. I still start with the line further away from me than working on the second line. It's just be methodical and careful at the same time.
But we really did like this double fold just with how much was going to be in it. But once we had everything folded, it was time to glue it up.
Now, Jay-Z likes to use a lot of glue. So this is really like trying to like hold herself back. Because if you use too much glue, you're going to wrinkle your paper, or you're going to have the glue squirt out. And you also, you know, keep in mind if you're using your finger to disperse the glue, then that finger can't really touch anything else unless you leave a remnant.
I don't know what he's talking about. All I know is that you definitely should know which is your glue finger and which is not if you like to be very tactile with things like I do. But as you can see, that first fold was pretty easy, but now Daniel's going to do the much more complicated one.
Now I'm doing this on a piece of paper so that once I feel like I have it close to a line, I can keep on, as I accidentally move things around, move them in unison.
It also protects the table though, which is nice.
Yeah, that was a secondary thought. So obviously I like to cap the glue in between every use so it doesn't dry out. Again, you're trying to evenly distribute the glue so it covers all the way to the edge of the paper. You do have a little bit of time to fix the fact that I moved that piece of paper that I was trying to glue it to anyways. So once you have it in alignment, I check that real quick. It was in alignment. If it wasn't, I can finesse it around while the glue is still tacky. But once it's set, you're SOL. So get that in line quick.
Absolutely. Now, once you get all those glued up, which is a pretty long process, but when you're having a smaller event and don't have that many to make, that's totally fine. We're just going to montage through the rest of this, but we did use the Cricut to cut out our invitations and details folders. We used a sublimation magnet to have as a part of our save the dates. This is not our information here, so don't like look at it and think you're going to show up. But we wanted to have something as a sample to show you kind of what ours looked like. And that's it.
Olivia and Brandon would be so proud to have you at their wedding. Please go there.
Now, a quick tip to get these in an envelope with those spiky palms, put a piece of paper over it, slide it in, and pull that piece of paper out. We had a lot of fun making things and learned quite a bit about working with paper, so we hope you did too.
And if you did, you should give the thumbs up, subscribe, ring the bell. If you have a comment, try fold it in the comment line. And of course, everything we used to do this is listed out in the description.
Also in the description are links to all of our social handles. Please connect with us across platforms. We love hearing from you. And don't forget to check out our blog at justmydiy.com. Thanks for watching.